Drum roll.
The Bliss Business Podcast, the show about empathy, connection, and consciousness in business. Today's episode is brought to you by Zero Company, your paid search, social media, and programmatic ad experts.
Welcome to Marketing with Purpose, a segment of the Bliss Business Podcast, where we explore what it really takes for marketing leaders to create impact that goes beyond the numbers. I'm Michele, and in each episode, we sit down with marketing experts to explore their leadership approach and strategies that drive performance and resonate with their audience. Together, we'll dive into what's working, what's not, and how purpose and empathy can transform the way brands connect with people. Let's get started. Today, I'm joined by Paul Waifaka, hello, account executive at Zero Company. Paul brings a strong analytical mindset to digital marketing, putting his master's degree in marketing research to work every day as he builds, analyzes, and optimizes PPC and social media campaigns for clients across a wide range of industries. He focuses on turning data and performance insights into campaigns that really drive measurable results. We're going to explore turning marketing into a revenue engine and how disciplined analysis, optimization, and strategy can transform marketing efforts into real business growth. I'm excited to dive in. Paul, before we dive in, I'd love to hear why was turning marketing into a revenue engine the topic you chose to explore with us today, and what makes it so important right now?
Well, turning marketing into a revenue engine is very important because a lot of companies, when they face hard times, one of the first major cuts they make usually is the marketing department, right? And I've been through major cuts in the past because I've worked in the marketing industry for close to 20 years now. So I've been through cuts before, and I saw the reason why they did this because they did not understand, companies didn't understand what the marketing department was for, because we were looked at like a cost center, like we're costing the company money and not actually giving them money, right? So that's one of the major reasons I actually picked this topic, because I've been affected with it in the past, and people even now are still being affected, with this issue, right now. And I'm sure there'll be the same thing in the future, where they think, oh, marketing is just a cost center, it doesn't give us anything, because they don't understand that marketing is an actual revenue generator, or can be looked at as a revenue generator.
Oh, great. That's a great lead into our next question coming up. CMOs are often pulled between near-term campaign results and long-term brand building. How do you ensure your marketing strategy stays aligned with the company's growth goals? And where do you find the biggest pain points in making that happen?
The biggest pain points is honestly leadership, right? But by leadership, I mean also not just the CMO, but also the executives, right? Because some of them decide that they have that knee-jerk reaction where I want to see revenues and profit now, right? But then as a marketer, we know, yes, we can do that, but at the same time, it's not only not profitable, but it's not manageable, because in the future, that's almost there's a word I'm looking for, but thing into getting a one-time customer and then having them. But by building a brand, then you actually keep a recipe. That's what I was looking for. You get a recipe of only getting that one client, and then you lose that client. When you build a brand behind your product, behind the service you're selling, then again, that's a recipe of building a repeat customer, right? So that's I would say that's probably my biggest pain point, is just how to deal with the different personalities of the executives or the bosses, the C-level executives that you're dealing with. That's what I came to realize. But in the actual work itself, it's actually not that difficult, to be honest, because you can run, separate campaigns that are working at the same time. You can run a short-term revenue generating campaign for a month or two, but then you can also run a long-term brand campaign that lasts 6 months to 10 years, right? Just depending on how long you run that for a small budget, right? And so that's actually not the most difficult part. The difficult part is dealing with the personalities, to be honest.
Yeah, and that takes some openness and empathy too, right? Empathy.
You're right, and you have to be able to massage that. That's another thing I have to learn over the last 20 years of working. It's like in the marketing, is you have to learn how to massage your words, right? And not because I'm not trying to give it to you straight, but because I realize if I give it to you straight, it's not gonna sound nice, and that's another recipe for disaster, where you're like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and hit the door or whatever. So, but yeah, it's one of those you have to learn to massage the message for it to get understood.
Agreed. Yeah, for sure. In high stakes situations like a brand crisis or
Mhm.
market downturn, how do you maintain a sense of purpose and empathy while making quick strategic decisions?
This is actually a very good idea. Right now, we went through all the tariffs that happened, in the market and everything.
Mm-hmm.
All of our clients have gone through that issue, right? And I
Yeah.
understand that. So for me, some of the things that I do and I end up telling is we reduce their budget a little bit, just kind of give them back some of that power in their hands, so they can have more money in their pocket. But at the same time, tell them, hey, we're in this together. I'm gonna work with you just as hard as we work in it, because your success means my success, right? And the more the more your company does good, the better I feel about it, right? So I'm telling you that you're not in this by yourself. We're in this as a team, right? And I have you back, right? And they will come to me, a month. Oh my God, Paul, our sales have dropped, this and that. I'm like, okay, these I kind of walk them through. These are the changes that we did. We reduced the budget here. We did this. We did that. But the reason why this is happening is because of these external factors that we can't really control. But that does not mean we're giving up. That just means we need to kind of look at the levers that we can cut, or like levers that we can pull to be able to gain more customers, at least to balance that loss. So yeah, you just have to be able to work with the client. It's not like, oh, you know what, tariffs, I give up. No, it's like, oh, tariffs, let's work on this together and try to get you still profitable, your business still profitable. And when the market gets better, then you'll find out that when the market does get better in the end, these clients are the ones who will stay with you, because they already have that level of trust, because you didn't give up on me when things were tough, and you stayed with me. We fought with together. We're in the trenches together. That means they'll be able to trust me to even grow the company more with a lot less questions and more trust.
I love how you're blissing the whole process, Paul. And I mean, it is all, it's about also, having understanding how that customer journey can shift in situations like that, and having deep empathy for
Mhm.
each stage of the funnel, right? As well,
Correct. Yeah,
for the
correct.
client and the consumer as well.
Correct. No,
Yeah.
because you have to realize, like, people, when something's happened, just people don't have the money to spend, or they're
Hmm.
scared of spending that money because they don't know the future is a bit uncertain. So you just have to be able to balance that bliss. Like, hey, we understand this is happening, but at the same time, we can still work with you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Don't shy away from it. You have to face
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yes, we have to.
When you're launching a new product or entering a new market, what's been your most effective way to align sales, product, and customer success teams? And where does that alignment tend to break down if it does?
It's usually, you have to know the product. You have to know what the
Mm,
product is, right? So you have to talk to product management, right? Or product marketing, number one. And number two, you have to research your audience. That's the biggest thing, right? Because if you know your product and then you research your audience, then you can sell a rock to anyone, which we've done in the past. We've sold pet rocks, right?
yes.
You have to know your audience, and know the product and the people, right? It's the same concept here. The biggest breakdown, though, I will say this, and I've seen this especially in bigger companies, is between what sales is offering and then what the product actually is. So product marketing and sales
Mm,
clash a lot, right? Because product marketing tells you, hey, this product can do A, B, C, right? Now, sales, their job is to sell a product, right? So they're over here over promising this product can do A, B, C, but in 2 months it can do D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Now, product marketing is like, no, that's not in the pipeline until like 4 quarters from now. So I don't know what you're talking about, right? So there's that huge, they butt heads a lot, and that's where some of these bigger companies, and retail companies, tend to lose a lot of clients because they overpromise and underperform, right? And that's why
mm.
you buy a product and they tell you, oh, you know what? Google does this too. It came with PMAX. They said they overpromised it when PMAX started. It's getting better now, but what, 2, 3 years down the line, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll
Good
overpromise the
example.
product. Yeah, but then Google, they can back it up. They have the money. They have billions of dollars to spend and waste, right? But not other companies can do that, right? So that's when you get that issue of, man, I've seen that fight happening. It's always funny because the product is like, no, we cannot do that. We're not. That's like 6 8 sales. Like, well, I already promised the client, so do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's great. And PMAX is a good example of that. And yeah, making sure you're aligned on product features, and also what solution are you,
Hmm.
providing for the client too with that product or service, and making sure that's really clear
Correct.
and that it's attainable too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can you share a time when customer feedback or behavior data completely shifted your campaign direction and what that taught you about balancing intuition with analytics?
Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, I have a client. He's in the he does proposal packages, right? So
Yeah.
take pictures. He's the one who hides in the bush and waits and take pictures. We always make a joke that sometimes it takes up to 2 to 3 try proposals before you get the right proposal, because you might not get the right angle and everything. But anyways, so when I started working with this client, I thought, and let me ask you, when do you think is the time that people propose the most? Like the biggest proposals happen? You would just top of your head, you would think.
You mean when somebody asks for a proposal?
No, like when someone proposes for marriage, like proposal for
Oh,
marriage.
a proposal for marriage.
Yeah,
Oh, you're talking about a proposal. I was
yeah,
thinking
marriage
marriage
proposal.
proposal. Oh, right after around the holidays and Christmas time
Right? And you would think that, and also you would think Valentine's,
and Valentine's Day.
right?
Yeah.
But technically speaking, the most I found this out, the biggest, well, his biggest clientele comes in after July and up until before Thanksgiving, because
Oh,
people want,
really?
yeah, because you want to be able to go to Thanksgiving and tell your family, hey, I'm engaged, right? Or you want to
Uh,
Christmas and tell them I'm engaged, because no one wants to get proposed to during Christmas, because it's mixing up with a bunch of other holidays, right? And you want to get proposed on Thanksgiving because, again, you don't want to mix. A lot of women don't want to mix up their Thanksgiving celebrations with their marriage proposals. So it usually happens between July, August, September, and October. That's the biggest time where a lot of people get proposed to, right? So for me, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But looking at the data,
data.
exactly, data, for me, I'm thinking this is not making any sense. But data tells me, no, this actually makes a lot of sense. So then I have to do that flip where data tells me A, but in reality it's supposed to tell me B, and I had to really change my thought process as fast as possible and be able to work with the client. Another thing I thought is people propose a lot during Valentine's. Turns out that's not the case. People ask for like do you want to be my girlfriend on Valentine's, but not do you want to be my wife on Valentine's. That's another thing that I had to learn working with this client, right? That's another shift in mentality, because I was thinking, oh, Valentine's is coming up. We need to start this, promotional campaign telling, hey, I'm here, I can do this. You're like, Paul, no, we actually don't get that many proposals during Valentine's. I'm like, blew my mind again, right? So that's when data tells you it's in reality supposed to, when you think about it, logically, or thinking people should propose it during this time, but realistically, no, people don't. So yeah, that's probably the biggest example for that.
Oh,
Right?
that's a great one. Yeah. And I mean, intuition can create a hypothesis, but the
Correct.
data gives the proof, right?
Correct.
Where it's going to work or not.
Because
So
my intuition was way off. I would not even lie about that. I was way off.
I would have been too, Paul.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's worked best for turning marketing into a revenue driver at your company? And
Mhm.
where do you still see gaps in CRM, lead tracking, or sales alignment that make it hard to measure success?
Um, the biggest issue is that I came to realize is the data infrastructure, right? Like what are you using to collect your data, right? Some people use, conversion tracking, you talk about GTM, Google Tag Manager, they CRM integration, your HubSpot and everything.
Yeah.
Analytics, what are you using to, collect your analytics, right? If you don't have a good data infrastructure behind it, then you can forget about running a successful campaign, to be honest.
Agreed.
Because with that, anything after that is your guesswork. It's guesswork, right? So the best thing for me personally, what helps me is okay. So the best example would be that at Google, a lead comes from Google, right? And then it goes to a landing page, and then it goes to a form, and then it goes to CRM, and then it goes to sale. You need to be able to track that fluently, right? If you don't have that tracking, then you won't be able to, I can't tell you if my ad or if my campaign is successful or not, right? If I can't track that, because then it would be like, oh, we think this. You can't really think, you have to, don't get me wrong, you need to think, but you need at least 80%, educational, and then 20% guesstimation, because life happens and that's just normal, but at least you need to have that 80% data to work with more than anything else. All right. So yeah, that's probably the best. That's what worked for us in the company. As long as I have my my infrastructure backing me up, then anything else after that is quite easy. Because if I have I'll give an example. If I think I'm looking at this campaign and this campaign tells me, oh, we have really high number of impressions, high number of clicks, but then we're not closing. We don't have a lot of conversions. That means I'm targeting people, but not the right people, right? That means I need to change my my either the audience and change what the messaging is, right? So, but if I do, I change the ads and then the impressions drop, clicks get higher, and then I see a high amount of clicks, a high amount of leads, I should say. Then that means I'm targeting the right people. My message is reaching the right people. So I need to figure out, okay, what did I do in that second iteration, and keep working on that. And data will tell me that, right? Google Analytics will tell me that. Just even Google itself, Google AdWords itself will tell me that, right? By looking at the search term report, or just the, which audience is there, like, do they use the mobile phone, do they use, laptops or anything like that. So pretty much it's a way to help me out pretty much. So that's pretty much what's helped me out, I guess. Data integration, data infrastructure, I'm sorry.
Data, yeah. Exactly. Fantastic. What's your approach to developing marketing talent so they not only hit performance goals, but also stay engaged and inspired? And where do you see leaders struggling most in retaining top talent?
I think it's education and empathy. If you can educate someone, they'll be able to, and it's always continuing education. Like for us, every year we have to renew our certifications. You Google ads, Google, your search, your what's called your display, your Bing certification. You have to renew them, right? So if you can keep ongoing education, that's going to help you, because in our industry things change, and things change fast, right? And sometimes they change in the drop of a hat. You'll sleep and you wake up the next morning and you're like, what the hell happened here? What did Google do? They just
that is true.
Right? They just take a rock and just throw it into the water, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess it's time to sink or swim, right? You have to figure it out, right? And that can be a bit difficult, sometimes, especially if you're going to when they make that change coincides with when you're having a hard time in your market or something happens, then you'll see sales go down, revenue go down, and then you have your boss that's breathing down your neck, and you're trying to explain to your boss, hey, this is not my fault, right? This happened and this happened, so work with me. So what I've seen a lot of bosses do is either they don't understand, or they don't accept, or they're not willing to accept that life happens, right? So give me some like a breathing room, give me a break, show some empathy, and then they keep pushing, right? They forget the past successful data, or the past success for that specific talent, and they just focus on that one part. And then once they do that, and once that person or that talent starts feeling not appreciated, then you've lost that person. Yeah. So that's the biggest problem. As soon as you've lost that person, then that's it. They'll just start looking for something else, and the next thing you know, they're gone.
Yeah, I think that listening and wanting to understand, right, what's happening is key. Yeah,
because life happens. It might not even be something outside. It might be something personal. They have a loss in the family. Anything happens. Just listen to that person first before you react, is what I always say. And a lot of managers, C-level executives, they don't have that skill set, or they do, or they just don't care to have that skill set. So, and that's why they lose the top talent.
Yeah. That active listening is key, right? Yeah. How do you propose? How do purpose and empathy shape the way you approach marketing today? And can you share a personal story where your work had a meaningful impact on a customer or employee?
Again, I'll go back to the proposal client, because that's one of my, you know what? No, let's go back to my, one of my clients. He does renovation, right? And when he came to us, he had low budget, about $1,500 per month. And he told us, like, hey, Paul, this is my budget. I'm trying to grow. Help me. Right. And he was I don't know if you ever worked with anyone who does construction, or who does, they're very knee jerk, and they want to see data as much as possible. So I had to learn how to work with him. Right. So it became almost not our context and personalities, but how well can I learn him, and how well can we work together? It got to a point right now, 3 years down the line, we have an almost $20,000 budget that we work for every month, and we're making money. He's making money. He's happy. So it became a point, and that actually made me happy, because like the conversations that we have now are so simple. I meet with him for 5 minutes, and he's like, okay, Paul, see you later. right? Before prior, we used to meet for like almost 30, 40 minutes. And it's here was him asking questions, double checking, triple checking, which again, I understand because that's his business and that's his money. So for me, I have to have the patience, I have to have the empathy to be able to sit down with him and explain to him what's going on, right? And if something goes down, I'm like, hey, it's not your fault. It's the market. I have to explain to you what the market, what's going on with the market, what's happening, ABC. And then it got to part. Right now we meet and he told me, hey, Paul, how's the data? This is literally a conversation we had last week. Hey, Paul, how you doing? How's the data looking like? It's looking like ABC. Okay, I'll talk to you next week. Okay, bye. That's it. That's it.
Oh, that's so great.
5-minute conversation, and he doesn't bother. He doesn't even let me say goodbye. He just hangs up, right? And then we meet again in 2 weeks. I'm like, you know what? From having a 40-minute conversation to a 5-second, 1-minute conversation, I'm all for it. I'll take it. Right.
Wow, you built a really strong foundation with him to get to that point.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a while, and I'm proud of that because from that to this, it's a long time coming. Even for both of us, to be honest. Because anytime he would have quit on us, or anytime I'd be like, you know what, I'm done. You're too much. I can't do this. But we didn't. I showed that empathy because I saw him and I saw how hard he's working to make his business successful, and he's relying on me as much as I'm relying on him. So we ended up just working together, which worked out really well.
Yeah, that's a great success story, Paul. And then, you both can focus on your work, right? If you don't
Correct.
have to, yeah.
He doesn't bother me. Yeah, he doesn't. The only time he comes, we have longer than usual meetings is during the end of the year, which is normal. He's trying to get all, how much money do you spend for a year? What's the revenue? Though that's normal. It's no big deal. But even those that like 20 minutes tops, right? So, which is no big deal.
Nice. Yeah. Nice work. Well, Paul, thank you for joining us on the Marketing with Purpose series today.
Thank you very much, Michele. It was great being here. Thank you very much, Michele.
I hope today's conversation sparked new ideas for how you can align strategy, execution, and purpose in your own work. If you found value in this discussion, like, subscribe, and share it to keep the conversation going. And remember, great marketing doesn't just sell, it serves. See you next time.